And we are back. And I can't hear myself in my headphones. That is brilliant. Well, I guess I'm going to find out pretty fucking quickly if no one can hear me. Let's see. Yep, everything seems to be right there. And this microphone stand is not playing nicely with me. All right, there we go. All right. So, what we are doing today? Oh yeah, the chat is kind of like might be a little bit weird. Let's try it with a test message. And there we go. All right, and let's press this. And there is there is an event alert dead in the middle of the screen. So let's see if this actually shows up. And it is still sitting there. All right, let's just get rid of that. All right, so we are playing some Ghostwire Tokyo. I believe 2455. Yeah, this looks about right. So, OMG Turtles just kicking in the door. I heard somebody say something. All right, I'm just going to put up the volume for this. There's something next to the Torii gate. No, there isn't. All right, so seeing as like video game news is everything that's out and about, hold on. Oh well. The video game news being out and about and everything, I just thought, well, why not, instead of trying to play anything in particular, there is a achievement in this game. And let's see if we can bring it up. 20 visitors, a lot of money, donated. There is a particular achievement here. Transfer at least 100% of the spirits in the city. I know it's only 30 points, but there's also this one, Hero of Shibuya, for 80, which is all of the spirits transferred in the city and then completing the story after. Like all of the other ones, like clearing Torii gates and relics and bits and pieces, I figured they're ones along the line, but I just love these sorts of little achievements where you just go, oh, okay, here's something that I can just chill out and do. Whoop, and we've got enemies somewhere. Ah. So this has been one of those games that whenever I just need to relax, this has been one of them. Let's try this. I don't have any arrows. Of course I don't. And gotcha. So I love playing this for the simplicity of, okay, you've got a massive world. And there's something that you can just do without really worrying about it. So it just allows you this ability to just relax, take it easy, and enjoy the environment. Actually, sorry, this is just one of those things. I do not know what. Huh. High frame rate mode VSync, quality mode VSync. I think that's the one that I've been using generally because I quite like the quality mode in this game, but the VSync. Luckily, this is a 120 hertz, 120 hertz screen and capture card, so it should handle this with no problem. But after today, like a lot of the news and everything, it's one of those times where you just kind of sit back and go, "Oh, really?" Is like it's gone from a rumor getting attention to now everything is on fire. Like like you don't get you don't get a choice in anything that's being talked about or spoken about, because now it is the time of, well, all of these people have said something, and it goes from, well, is this a possibility? Is it yes? Is it no? Is it here? Is it there? And it becomes any sort of claim becomes substantiated, not because there's truth to it, not because they have a source, but because it seems to be feasible. It seems to be, oh, well, they're not doing well, or those things are falling apart, or I heard this, I heard that from any one of many journalists. So it just becomes like a, it becomes a strange point where even if something were to come out and you go, oh, okay, now we've got an official news report, these, this is the reality X studio, or these people, or whatever the case is, at what point do you start believing it, or that it becomes reality? Oh, yay, we got it. I'm trying to remember. I do not want photo mode. I do not want talismans. I do not want that. I do not want a light. And I keep opening photo mode. I'm doing really well today. There is a particular button that pings things, and I'm trying to remember what it is. Oh, there it is, X. Ah, perfect. All right, so let's do the most important thing. We got to keep collecting the spirits. The spirits are the important thing. That's why we're here to chill out. And I find that these games are just really good chill outs when everything becomes a discussion point of, oh, well, I've heard X, Y, Z thing. So it goes from one rumor of, oh, this thing is happening, unsubstantiated, but it's happening. So people go, okay, they report on it and go, this thing may be happening. And you go, okay, that thing is happening. So then it grows from that. It cannot be one piece of news. It then has to be, oh, well, there's also this. Oh, well, there's also this. And I've worked for a lot of people out there, and I've never heard I've never heard of so many things that people have claimed are currently happening ever leaking that quickly, or that succinctly, or in that quick of a pace that it goes. From Turtles, yeah, I just saw something posted in the Discord where people are teasing more Doom, and it's like, it's not helpful. And See, that's the thing. I agree. It isn't helpful. I'm always up for the discussion because if somebody goes, well, what if this is true? Then you kind of go, well, if it's true and that's, that's a terrible thing happening, why would it be happening? Or why would why would the source know what's going on, or why would they have access to that information in the context of what's being discussed, whether good, bad, or otherwise? It's the same as like when somebody goes, oh, I've heard that, you know uh like Sony's going to show X game. I'm always like, okay, cool. Why do you know that? Because the why is always the kind of key thing, and that tends to filter a lot of the bullshit out because, uh, like, okay, I'm not going to bury the guy because I don't know him, and regardless of opinion or thought or anything else, I think everybody is like, and I will assume that people do things without malice or with good intentions if they're leaking stuff. There are grifters out there. um, the only info I can see being out there is whatever was said in the town hall, that Senna post was just Chinese whispers on someone's speculation. I agree. I I do not doubt that if there was, like, okay, say Ninja Theory are like, okay, we want to divest. I do not doubt that in any way, shape, or form. I like if they do, um, then that's kind of fair call. If like it's the same as Toys for Bob, apparently that divestment discussion occurred, and a number and a deal was given, and they were asked, well, what is it that you're going to do? And they went, we want to divest, own the company because we don't wish to. Oh, sorry, I will get back to that. So the divestment discussion, that's what we'll go back to. This. Thank you, Michigan. Yes, Manabar Studios. However, oh, I got my little foot pedals here. Nope, that didn't change it. Let's try that one. Yes, Manabar Studios lives. The Manabar sign will be here in the future. I just have to uninstall it from the shed. So Manabar Studios will survive. Everything is well. Thank you very much for asking. I hope all is well for you, sir. Um, one of the things I love about this game is that this rain, if you look at it, I don't know if the YouTube compression isn't too bad looking at the stream point. It depends. I think I'm streaming at 1080p. But the rain in this sequence, if you look at the game full on, is actually the kanji for rain in I believe it's the kanji. It's not the katakana, but the kanji characters of rain or rainfall. And it's just falling on. If you look up, you can actually see the character falling towards you. It's an awesome little thing that when 1080/60. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix that. I think I can that I'm no good with other languages. But yeah, it might be Ame, possibly. But yeah, if you look up, it's actually that character falling from the sky. I didn't know this uh, until Qualified Wombat, my wife, was playing this. She played it before me, and she was just running through the game, and she picked up on it. She was like, "What is it about this?" And she she worked it out. It was like, "Oh, it's this," and I I didn't have any fucking clue about it. So one of those cool little things. Um, oh, okay, so it is the character, or Ame is the character that's falling, and that's the character for Rain. Okay, brilliant. I wasn't spreading lies and bullshit. It it was real. But yeah, it was just one of those cool things about this game I didn't know. And uh, because of my hands and inability to play on PlayStation, I just never played this until it came out on Xbox. Um, okay, so my original point was okay, divestment. Divestment. That was it. I worked it out. I got back to the point. Okay, so with if a company's out there and say Toys for Bob, they went, okay, we want to divest, you're given a number or terms and agreements that you can come to your your owning with the company that owns you, and you can ask them and go, hey, we would like to divest from you, we would like to buy our studio, our position, blah 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 back. Now this is a little bit of knowledge of it in other situations for very different businesses, but not in entertainment, but it has a similar element. And then also some knowledge from a I'll just call them a friend who was involved in part with what Bungie became when they spun out from Microsoft, and but they weren't there for the original divestment. They were there once Destiny was actually announced. They were hired at a point uh when it was still being built out, before it was shown for the first time. Uh okay, so in those situations, or particularly I know for what they told me of what they heard afterwards. Oh, shit. Um, fuck. I didn't expect the ghosts. Oh, let's try this. God damn it. Oh. I I am terrible at this. I've Oh, okay. Oh, where is he? There he is. Okay, so I'm gonna have to kill this guy first. Oh, I really need to get better at playing this game. So, yeah, with the divestment from particulars, it becomes about okay, there is a certain amount of money, and there is a certain, like, what are the requirements? I know for Bungie, it was talked about, I think, in Dean Takahashi's book on the Xbox 360. And I think as an additional element about the Xbox One, possibly, that he talked about the oh my god. This fucking thing will not die. Yeah, I can. Okay, eat. Eat, my gentleman. Okay, so Dean Takahashi's book talked about it from Shane Kim's perspective. He was the former head of Microsoft Game Studios uh, before he retired, and then Phil Spencer became the head of Microsoft Game Studios. And this was during that. Okay, I'm going to try and stop talking while killing this thing because I'm not doing well. And I've got. Okay. You know what? I think I've got one of these, which is a shock one. Nope. Okay. Nope. That one is a... I'm getting really fucking sick and tired of this dude's bullshit. Oh my god, I don't even have one of the shock ones. Nope. Okay, I am doomed. This guy's going to kill me, and then it's just going to be a stream that sits in the archive of YouTube showing, oh my god, this guy can't play Ghostwire Tokyo. Oh, got him. Got him. Oh, no. Don't give up. It's not that bad. You're not the one getting your ass kicked, man. Gotcha, core. Fuck you. All right. What was that? No, I'm really not getting the hang of it. Okay. Thanks, Turtles. I appreciate that. I'm going to have to watch that back just at my face, probably in a permanent scale, just being like, fuck this dude. Okay, so for divestment with Bungie, it was spoken about that now I'm paraphrasing it at best. I don't remember all of the details exact, so I could get this wrong. It was apparently during the production or after the production of Halo 2, very famously the tattoo from Peter Moore that's on his shoulder or on his bicep, which he ended up only saying, I think last year, that it was a fake tattoo. It was actually Xbox had to hire a makeup artist from Hollywood in LA to come out and actually apply the makeup live in the back area of the conference hall where they were doing the show that year. So what had happened from there is that they'd done Halo 2, and as far as they were concerned, Halo 2 had burnt out Jason Jones, one of the original directors on the game. I think he was the game director for Halo 1, but he ended up kind of falling off a bit or changed his role throughout development. And he, once Halo 1 had been done, the kind of discussion point was, well, what are you working on next? And he's like, oh, we're going to do Halo 2. Now, take this with a pinch of salt because it came out of the mouth of Marty O'Donnell. Don't shoot me. I'm just the messenger here. Apparently, the discussion was, you don't like doing sequels. You want to do new games. Why the fuck are we doing Halo 2? No. It's Halo 2, Halo 3. It'll be great. And then he just fell off that project, so it fell to others to basically take on that role while he kind of worked on other things, apparently like starting the idea for Destiny and other projects that never ended up becoming anything. So seeing as how much work they were having to put into Halo, how much crunch they did for Halo 2, then into Halo 3, and a lot of people at Bungie were not happy because they felt, oh my God, we just delivered, we haven't just delivered Halo, we've delivered Halo 2, and these are massive games. Our bonuses are going to look amazing. The thing being is that they're not getting royalty back end deals based on being a individualized developer. They are part of the game studio, so they're getting paid salary, and I I don't know where they're getting paid. Good salary, bad salary. I never heard anybody talk about the pay being bad, but you know, can't speak on what I don't know. Uh, so the bonus structures when you work for the company, dependent on the company and what you've delivered. If you've, if you've delivered Christmas, like the one of the biggest games of all time, which it was, you'd be hoping that it's a pretty damn good bonus structure. But it wasn't what people liked. And when I think it was Ed Freeze had burnt up his political capital in buying Bungie the time that they needed to finish off Halo 2 properly. So he was already on his way out. A lot of people at Bungie did not like the idea of continuing at Microsoft without Ed Freeze because they felt that he was the only person on their side, and possibly to a degree he may have been. It's an unknown, but not gospel, absolutely not. But the bigger part of what occurred was, so Bungie ended up with some of the higher ups in the studio. They all came together and went, okay, let's talk to Microsoft and talk about what we would need to do to be able to buy ourselves out of our contract. Like, how could we earn our way to independence instead of remaining under Microsoft? We're not happy here. We don't like the where we are, what we're doing. We want to do different things. This isn't us. Which, fair call. So this was apparently during Halo 3's development that a deal was struck that it was to be Halo 3. It was meant to be 3 Halo games. So they were to deliver Halo 3, Halo Recon, which became Halo ODST, and Halo Reach. But Halo 3 was almost completed. So Halo 3 came off of it, and they went, we still need 3 games. I think it was, no, 2 games after Halo 3. 3, 2. Hold on. This is the annoying part. I don't know everything off by heart, so I'm trying to, balance it out. But the deal was that at that time, I believe it was Joseph Staten was flying in and out of New Zealand working with Peter Jackson, and Weta Digital Studios had actually pitched Bungie on the Halo movie that they were trying to go ahead with during this time with Neil Blomkamp. He was going to be the director. Peter Jackson was going to be the producer of the movie, and they had I think it was based off the script that Alex Garland of 28 Days Later that he wrote. And I think it was $1 million script at that point, like $1 million. Just, you have $1 million, write us the best scripts possible. And he did, and they were very happy. But then things with that fell through. Peter Jackson's still like, I still want to make this game. Bungie had kind of like done kind of things and gone, okay, we want to do this thing with Peter Jackson. Okay, that can be one of the games that you're making. So they were like, okay, cool. That completes part of our contract. So that's one of the Halo games. So the deal was, you deliver these Halo games, and you do not own the Halo property anymore. It becomes a Microsoft property, which, It like a potentially $1 billion franchise, but if you want out, they're good terms. You just have to deliver on that promise. So you have to actually finish the projects. And there was discussion, I think, I cannot remember who it was. There was one of the Bungie developers who apparently kind of cracked the shits at the idea that, oh, we shouldn't be on the hook for this Halo game that was Peter Jackson. It like, yeah, you're right, Turtles. It was a very fair deal considering that at this point during this time, after I think it was during Halo 3's development, the very famous Bungie studio location that they're currently in, the one that's I think it's in Washington somewhere. But it was the original one was basically a giant, I think it was a former Walmart or a Best Buy or something like that. And Microsoft bought them this massive open plan warehouse, and they basically fitted it out to be a world-class studio. They had motion capture, they had a complete sound studio with every possible thing you'd want, composing space, and massive open areas for art, staff, the whole deal. Oh no, the dogs are here. All right, hold on. We got to quickly change it. So, the very special thing, we have Coda Cam. Hello, Coda. Hello, buddy. And we've got Piper here. All right. Sorry, there is a break here as I must feed the dogs some kibble. It's only right in this house. There we go, pups. Okay, so let's see. Will that... Oh, it does disappear. Awesome. So they've got a massive new studio location. They have... The stream finally got good, yeah. It's only good when there's dogs. They've got a massive new location. The building, the equipment, and the staffing, and any of the projects that they were working on that were not the Halo IP stayed with them. And they had to deliver those games. So then it became, oh, we've delivered Halo 3. They were originally... Now I've remembered. Halo 3 was Halo 3. That was one of the deliverables. Recon was originally just going to be DLC for Halo 3, just like a little add-on campaign thing that was only a mission or two and just like this small little extra map area. And then they were doing Halo Reach. So that was their contributions. So it was Halo 3 and Halo Reach were their two games, and then Peter Jackson's game would be the third game. When the Peter Jackson deal fell through, Microsoft said, well, the deal isn't complete because the Peter Jackson game isn't going to happen. You still owe us a game. From there, apparently, like, some people were quite pissed at the studio, and I can imagine so. That's when I think it was, I'm not certain, don't quote me on it, but I think it was Jamie Griesmer and Joseph Staten basically fleshed out the idea of Recon from being like this simple little DLC thing to actually develop it into a proper game, like a 6-hour-long game. Little did they know that they would make one of the best fucking ever Halo titles with that. because the simplicity of the story and also just good game design. Take away the chief and tell a story from the soldier's perspective because we'd been alongside them all this time. So they pivot, the studio starts working solidly on this, and they complete everything. Halo 3 was fantastic. Halo Reach was fantastic. Halo ODST was fantastic. All sold millions and millions and millions of copies. The deal is done and they have their independence. That was divestment that was negotiated, but one of the provisos of that divestment was that no one at Bungie was to talk about the divestment deal until it had actuated, because Bungie, being one of the biggest studios they had and developing for one of the biggest IPs that Microsoft had, that's a stock changing event if you were to just announce that out of the blue and go, oh, Bungie doesn't work for us anymore. We don't have anybody working on Halo. It's, we own it, but it's not Bungie. Why are all of those traffic lights red? Oh shit. Hide. So that's a stock changing event, and you can't talk about those things outside of school. It is a very big no-no. If you start doing things that could actively impact Microsoft's stock prices, they tend to not be very kind about those things because, you're impacting upon a business far, far, far bigger than yourself. It's also why you don't get many executives who are able to speak as openly or as critically as some people would like, because, if it's impacting stock price of Microsoft, then you're kind of speaking without representing the larger company, and is what it is. So in terms of the divestment, that's one in the entertainment industry that I know a bit about. Oh God. This is the Banshee. This is Yahtzee. While I'm streaming inside, you may hear the howls of a cat. It's him. He just walks around the house and yowls his head off. Beautiful, wonderful cat. He's old, but he's beautiful and wonderful. There he goes. So in terms of entertainment divestment, there is that, where the studio actively worked towards a goal. That goal and agreement was written, papered, and understood. The deliverables were given, and the ownership was handed off. That is how divestment for those sorts of companies and everything generally matters. He is a very, very old man. He's 18 years old. I think, Koala got him the year that we met, which was 2008. And he has been going strong ever since. So yeah, for that particular situation, that's how that divestment occurred. But all of those sorry, looking at the moment, kids maintenance. Oh no. Oh, Mishkin, you've got something in common with turtles. Not the nectar of life. Yahtzee exists on spite. The same as the human Yahtzee exists on criticizing games on the internet. Cat Yahtzee exists on spite. Pure spite. He does not let us sleep uninterrupted any night at any time. He hasn't for years. And you know what? Like, as much as that would piss me off, it just doesn't. He's a lovable fluff. And yeah. Oh. Um yeah, he's just the lovable fluff of cat. Would not give him up for anything. Um uh so that's how Halo, well, that's how Bungie got out. No, he doesn't. Although, here's the interesting part on that, Turtles. Here's a piece of internet history that nobody knows that I have. You can see this trilby here. This is Yahtzee Crowshaw's trilby. Because when he left Australia in 2014, myself and Gabe, a mutual friend of ours, he had basically ran into me, I think 2 days before he was leaving the country, and was like, "Hey, do you have a van or a ute that I could borrow?" Because he knows we've known each other for years. He knows I'm a tradie. So he's like, "Do you have a ute?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've got a van. Why? What you need?" He's like, "I have to." Hold on, I'm just gonna pause this. And yeah, he went, "Well, uh I got my visa. I'm going to America. I'm working for the Escapist." So he was like, "I've got a house full of stuff that I can't, I need to get rid of." And I was like, "Well, yeah, we're probably gonna, do you have a fridge? Do you have uh, a microwave, things like that?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I've got this and this and this. I don't know what to do with it. I just figure throw it out." And I'm like, "Well, leave it with me. I'll try and sell it, everything that I can, on Gumtree." And one of the things that was with all of his gear was this trilby. Now, he hadn't worn this trilby, I think, out and about in years. He'd just stopped wearing them because it was an easily identifiable thing for him. And yeah, it was there with everything. And I remember saying to him, uh, like, seriously, that's the fucking hat. And he was like, "Well, yeah, what do you want to, like, do you want to, do you want it?" And I'm like, "Well, it's a piece of internet trivia history." And he was like, "Oh, you can have it." So yeah, I'll hold it up there. There's the curiosity satisfied, um, little button that he's had. And yeah, it's Yahtzee Crowshaw's trilby. I'm still like, I know that he streams on Second Wind, his channel that he started with the former Escapist crew. I know that he's out there. And I reached out to him, I think during one of the streams, to be like, "Hey, actually good to see you working for someone else." And I think I left him a message on there being like, "Hey dude, I still have that fucking trilby." Um and see, that's the thing. That's the exact thing, Turtles. It is that. And it's one of those aspects that kind of threw me about it, that he was like, throw it away. And it's like, no, this is a piece of internet history. So I'm still of the opinion that one day there is going to be a cause out there uh that he's going to speak up about, or that means a lot to him, or to myself, and I will offer this forward. I will put it in a glass case and put it up for auction or something to raise money for God knows what. Like, if Second Windfall on hard times, I'll I'll mail it to him and he'll be like, "You could raffle this off. Get some scratch for yourself." But yeah, Yahtzee Crowshaw's hat. It's still here in Brisbane where he left it. And uh one of the weird things being is that yeah, there's like other little bits and pieces, but a lot of the stuff we ended up selling it. I just wired him money for it. But yeah, piece of internet history. I better put this back up. Let's just put it there on the PlayStation shelf. Yeah, there's actually like the PlayStation shelf there. It's got PS1, PS2, PS3. I think I've got a yeah, there is a PS4 back there. And then Xbox shelf there and above it. At some point I'll I'll show that show a lot of the stuff there. But you're absolutely right. It is one of the it's one of those pieces of history that like a lot of people wouldn't really consider or think of. And I couldn't let that go and just be like, oh my god, it doesn't mean anything. It's what is going on here? Hello, Coda. Coda? Up. Nah, you're a good boy. Um, just a piece of history. And I know that like if someone was watching this and was like a Second Wind person who watches Second Wind or something and like clipped it and sent it to him, he'd probably be like, "Oh my god, why the hell does he still have that there? You know, it's cringe. Get rid of it." But I don't know. Like it's still to this day. Like I will say this about the gentleman Yahtzee, one of the honestly one of the really nice people that I've met. He he was always it was always a great friend. I would say that absolutely. Um, and yeah, I know that for a lot of it, people kind of look at the element of oh well, he hates video games or anything. It's no, he really didn't. He he was passionate. Like there was one thing that you could say about him was that he had a passion for video games and wanting him to always grow to be better because he knew that I think like any of us we've all seen video games grow up from being the simplest things like you consider and go back and look at uh early Sega Mega Drive games or SNES games or anything. They're nothing to look at, nothing amazing to look at. And I think anybody would kind of look at it and go, how could any of these things grow beyond just the simplest little thing? But now they're movies and TV shows and everything. All right. So where my original point was, somewhere back there, the the divestment that occurred for Bungie was a particular situation. They papered up, but part of those terms is that you don't talk about them. You don't let anybody know because obviously, if the people involved are involved and it could affect or impact the business, that okay, you're divesting from the the company that you're a part of. Someone might go, "Oh, um, if I knew that that was happening, maybe I instead of the divestment offer that you're offering, where you're buying yourself back at cost plus additionals or cost plus a deal, like you're getting you're getting your studio back in your hands for the deal of finishing a particular game and a lump sum payment of, say, $20 million. So you're buying back your studio's ownership at a cost of $20 million plus execution of a termed agreement. If that gets out, the company that owns you obviously will go, we've made this deal, we've made this agreement, and that's all there is to it. So they're going to hold true to their word. But if you start telling people and they start going out and about and talking about this, then you could have potentially your head company's competition go, oh, we'll offer that company another $20 million to instead like break that deal or deliver a bad game and then come work for us, and then we can utilize that in our favor. Like you can't sour deals like that, because it gives you a very bad name, and bad names tend to carry. Like there is a very specific reason why Silicon Knights and Dennis Didacts never continued past the agreements or roles that they had after, obviously, they did Too Human with Microsoft, and then Microsoft were on the hook because of claims and deals that they had made without informing their publisher, such as, oh no, we used Unreal Engine and we didn't pay properly for it, and so on and so forth. Yeah, someday probably the true story about that's going to happen, and I think people are just going to laugh at the absurdity of it. So, like in all hypotheticals, if the current stories are to be believed, that Ninja Theory were being shopped around, people at the studio aren't going to know unless the specific deal with the buyout is that the 86 or so people in the studio were offered the ability that if they wanted to put in for it, they could become a part owner of the studio itself. Now, divestment deals like that, I think the last comment I heard on it was that somebody said, oh, they tried to sell, like Ninja Theory tried to buy themselves and it didn't work, and now they're going to be closed down. If that were the case, we would be finding out the same day that they closed down, because everyone would be pretty much locked to disclosure deals, where it's a case of, don't talk about this. Like we've made these terms and agreements and deals. We've given you time to generate money and bring together your own potential purchase. It hasn't worked in your favor. Okay, so now we're going to close you. You don't really get a choice in that matter, and it would put at risk everybody at the studio getting their severance pays and everything, because it then becomes you're trying to impact the business. That's that's unfortunately where so many of the discussions and fall aparts occur in a lot of these deals. You don't you just don't want to piss off the companies. Like, that's as simple as it is. If you start screwing around and going, oh, I'm going to talk out of line about this deal that I know happened or is happening or anything else as a staff member, oh, we got a message here. Do you think they will? I'm debating whether if they go indie, they'd be able to get funding. That's the only thing that's stopping me from going, okay, yeah, you know what? I could believe that. Like, I don't wish to be mean, and I'm not saying this at a point of cruelty or that I don't believe that they could. Like, Ninja Theory have proven over nearly 20 years that Nina and Tamim, who started the studio, they kept hanging on. They did contract work. They did all sorts of things to keep going, to make games and be creative. And I love anyone who does that. Today's world in publishers is not a healthy place to be. If you are relying on getting publishing deals, it's not an easy place. And I think actually Koala had told me this. I think the game is called We the Shadows. Indie game. It's come out recently. It's gotten quite a bit of buzz. Jacksepticeye, Markiplier played it. A lot of people jumped into it. It's a solo developer, but a lot of people have gone, hey, this game is fantastic. So that solo developer, having actually made a decent chunk of the game, had then put it out to publishers and had asked, hey, would you be interested in publishing this? And no one took him up on it. Now, I think it was, I cannot remember if it was shown at the Game Awards or Steam Next Fest or something. He got a slot. People started seeing the game. Streamers went, oh, hey, this looks cool. It's, it's in development. I'm going to give it a shot. And people really enjoyed it. Okay, we got a message. Knowing if you've just bought yourself out, you don't have any workable income for a year or two to fund your studio going forward, you're going to need someone to pay your staff for you, essentially. That's where the risk is. Now, if it was that okay, here's how I could see a Ninja Theory getting to a position, which would be if they were doing a buyout, a divestment deal on deliverables as well. Say that they went, hey, we are going to deliver the game that we've promised here, Senua, and we are going to forego our what would you call it? Royalty payments, or our share payments in it. We will forego those, and the game, the IP, and everything else we leave with you. If that was the case, I could definitely see it, because then you're going, okay, instead of larger cash payments, you are instead using the potential revenue, like created revenue from the release of the game. Instead of getting royalty payments, you are basically going, okay, we're going to forego those things so that we can purchase ourselves out. Now, that would mean that you then have the studio and its location, and you would be able to use that and basically go to a bank and go, hey, we own this X million dollar property where our studio is located. The studio is these people. and we would like a business loan. This is our next project. This is a game that we are developing. This is how much money it's going to cost. This is how much money we need to pay the key staff and rates and bills and everything else for a production time of 3 years. Here's the proof of that we've done it before, on a budget of 1/50th of what we're asking for. That's a very workable position. But that as a position is very different, because that's not what's being implied by a lot of the rumors and speculation right now. Every part of the rumors and speculation is that Microsoft has tried to shop them out. Ninja Theory tried to buy themselves and they failed. If Ninja Theory wanted to buy themselves out in divestment, I think, and it's been shown by Matt Booty and Phil Spencer, that Twisted Pixel, back in, I think it was 2014, they wanted, they did Loco Cycle. They were purchased by Microsoft. They did that game. It didn't really work out that well. And they weren't happy with the sort of arrangement and method of working under Microsoft. So Phil Spencer gave them the option and they divested. If Ninja Theory approached Microsoft or Xbox and said to Matt Booty, you know, we're not doing the things that we want to do. We want to try different things. We want to, you know, we want to swing harder, be better, but we don't have the cash to be able to fund this. Even as cash strapped as Microsoft seems to be with all of this AI investment, and I'll keep off that topic, but you know, even with all of that, they would know that there's a lot more potential in having the studio owned by itself and the better branding that comes along with, oh, we let the studio buy themselves out because that's the right thing to do. Rather than we gave them the opportunity, they didn't pony up the bucks, so fuck it, we're closing. If those decisions were made, it would have been behind closed doors and people would not have a clue until the day it happens, unfortunately. It would be like Arcane, Austin, or Tango, or any others, because the staff would only be told when it becomes applicable, because that's how you have to operate in a larger business. So I understand a lot of the speculation out there, and look, I don't know what they're seeing, so if somebody says it, okay, yeah, could very well be. I'm not seeing what they're seeing, so I'm not going to comment on the validity. I've not seen those things occur in that manner previously. Doesn't mean that they don't, but it's very rare that you have things like that occur in that manner, because you have to kind of operate and do governance in good faith. And good faith governance is that, okay, you want this deal, they'll try to make it happen. So Double Fine, I think somebody out there said that that Tim Schafer had a clause in his purchase that was, you know, if they were to be closed down, that they have the option of buying themselves out. Those sorts of deals do happen, and they happen quite often, surprisingly. Like if there's a change in direction for the business, if it's a case of the business is not healthy, then some of those companies, when they're bought out, will just go, well, give us the option. Um, from OMG Turtles. I guess that it is just speculation. We have no idea if studios are closing. A part of Jason's report, it would seem like a strange way to do it by announcing a reset, and then sitting down at a table and then beginning. That's that is a really good point. Um, you also wouldn't. um, uh, yeah, Tim's not divesting. Tim's a tired man. I would agree with you, except on one part of it. Yes, Tim is a tired man, but Tim is also a man of principles. And considering, I shouldn't say the number that I heard floated around because it is somebody who would know, and I don't think that's a like their business is their business. If I spoke about everything I knew, then I'd be terrible at working in security. Like there are numbers out there that would indicate that, by any means Tim Schafer is not by any means the wealthiest man alive, but he's also not hard up for a buck. Tim would strike me though as somebody who would go, I'm willing to put in on divestment to help buy the studio back. Sorry, I've got the small border collie jumping at me. I'm gonna have to call in an extra set of hands. Um, um, Tim does strike me as somebody who would go, okay, divestment. Okay, you, the people in the studio who believe in what Double Fine does and have been here, if you guys want to keep this place running and like build smaller games and smaller experiences and keep this dream alive, I'll put in for this much, and you guys, split between one another and come up with the rest, and you keep the dream going. I could very much see that happening, where he can just sit back, and to a degree it would be uh that border collie just keeps bouncing at me. um yeah, I could see him being like, hey, I love this studio, I love these people, um who's going to fund the next kiln? That's actually where I think it's more the industry thing, and a larger discussion. Okay, like regardless of um how you feel about the cesspool that is Twitter, um one of the interesting kind of back and forth points has been the general topic of, well, how many, you know how many publishers are out there? How many publishers are actually funding games? And what's the way to do it? The reality would be that if Double Fine were a independent studio that is producing games and showing off, or showing promise with the title, they that would actually work in their favor to then approach Microsoft separately and go, hey, here we are with this game. It's 60-70% done. Can we get a Game Pass deal? Lock down the funding and be able to finish off the game like any one of the other developers that are out there, where you get a guaranteed chunk of money. I think there's still a whole run of people who are considering or going, oh, Game Pass, it doesn't work. I think it does work, but there has to be a willingness from publishers to take the punts on things. Sorry, one of the other aspects, I complete derailment of train of thought. Earlier I was talking about We the Shadows. That developer, once it was shown on stream, and Jacksepticeye, Markiplier, and a few other people did play it, all of the like a lot of people started playing it, and he responded and people started asking questions, and he's stayed pretty open in his development. One of the things that occurred was once the game kind of really took off with the streamers and other people out there, publishers were coming to him going, hey, we really want to publish your game. And his comments after that point were that what do the what do you, the people who've played the game, think about this? Because I'm tempted to tell these publishers to go eat a bag of dicks, because I saw them 6 months ago, a year ago, and they didn't want to publish my game, and they were like, nah, this isn't it. But now that I've got attention from everybody, now they're like, oh yeah, we'd love to publish your game. We thought it was amazing. We just didn't have the space or the funding. And yes, I am walking into the toilets. And he said that he honestly did wonder and go, should I take them up on these offerings, these deals? Because they didn't believe in me when I actually approached them. Only now, once I've done everything to get the attention myself and to bolster and build my own capacity and ability, they've decided, oh, now you're actually worth it. And and as he put it, should I just be telling these people to fuck off sideways? That is a reality for a lot of game publishing, is that there's no guarantee to it. And I think the same issue that's occurring for large scale video game development is the issue that is still affecting indie video game development, which is there isn't a lack of customers, honestly. They are there, but it's trying to get people to see what you're making when there is 101 different methods of engaging with the world or entertainment in any way, shape, or form at every single point of the day. Yeah, it's like Turtles. I do agree. Like, I would personally say I can be a spiteful little bastard, that if I was in their position, and yeah, all of these publishers and people who specifically told me, no, fuck off, you don't know what you're doing, this isn't worth anything, I would feel like telling them to just fuck off entirely. But as I said, spiteful bastard. But you have to kind of work within those bounds. Like, it's a tough thing, because even by all senses of the word, like, as a small business owner, we've been running for 10 years. Now, at 10 years, we've got a couple of full-time staff, couple of casuals, couple of contractors. We only got to that position by grinding out and doing what we could. We had to live within our means. So it meant that for a lot of, like, we couldn't be building a AAA, the equivalent, obviously. We couldn't be building a AAA video game because we didn't have the, we didn't have the, we didn't have the capacity or ability to. Hold on. Now, for a lot of the smaller developers, indie developers, because so many of them have, like, they have work history. They've worked for Ubisoft. They've worked for this company and that company, and all of these larger groups. They've got experience that is phenomenal. It means that they understand their development and everything involved. They know it's not, it's not for the faint of heart. You have to, um, it's, but there has to be, hold on, it's about working within means without expecting that you can spend 2 years and burn everything that you've got as a resource to get to a point where somebody else and then once you've burnt all of those resources, spent all of this capital, all of this time, all of this investment, to then at that point go, hey, you big company that has money, look at what I've made. Give me money. Let me finish it. Because if you haven't built that for what people are actually playing or what's selling at that point, how do you then expect the person who's potentially going to fund it to make money off something that isn't, like, they would not, like, it's the element. We don't make products, like, we don't design or build products that we make without knowing that there is a market for it. Like, what it if nobody wants the thing that you're buying, then who the fuck's gonna buy it? You and that's unfortunately where a larger portion of video game development has kind of lost its way in the changes from, like 2010 to 2013. Okay. Oh, sorry. Moderation duty popping up and something I just needed to be aware of. So a tough part for any side of it, whether the comments about Ninja Theory are true, that okay, they're divesting or they're gonna go be their own independent developer and they're gonna self-publish, or that they've got a publisher lined up or they don't have a publisher lined up. I would. Do you think video games went from being a product to being art? That is actually a fucking brilliant question. Yes. They went from being a product to being art because for the artists, they wanted to be seen in the same way that movies and television and other forms of entertainment, books and other media groups are seen, which is that we are artists, we are creating things that people connect with, that drive emotion. And I absolutely agree, video games are art, but there is a very big difference in art that people want to engage with and art that will get made or get seen or get engagement. Whilst, like, it, no, I don't want to take it into a a hyperbole or an exaggerated situation, but it can be applied in a sense that Picasso was not considered a great artist when he was alive. A lot of his works that created drive and wonder at how he interpreted or saw the world occurred after his death. Now, I'm not saying like anybody needs to die to be able to make art, but there is an importance that comes with, you can have a great piece of art that is also a great product. Think, like, in a sense, across three different mediums. Jurassic Park the book was a bestseller by Michael Crichton. Jurassic Park the movie was a incredible smash hit for Steven Spielberg and Amblin Entertainment, and it then became a fantastic, well, maybe not the first one. Let's not talk about Jurassic Park Trespasser, Seamus Blackley's first solo directed game, and that also led to Xbox. Full circle. Um, um, the the way entertainment is that you have, like, everybody sees the individual success stories. So a good example right now is the Enter the Backrooms movie and Obsession. Now, I haven't seen either of them, but I understand enough about Enter the Backrooms to go, okay, yeah, it's based off the old 4chan meme, and it's like, okay, cool. So it's gone from remind me at some point when there's not a disappearing for 10 minutes. No, it's all cool. Um, Remind me when there's not a specific topic to talk about how um there's a link between the Chozo mythos, point and click adventure games, and Slender Man. That is an interesting story that I never knew about until uh I was I think I was out at dinner with friends and it came up, and I found out about something that I never had a clue on. It was, amazing little mind blown moment. Um, but for those movies, they are very unique, very individual, specific things that have occurred. They're not um they're not as you would they're not as you'd put it, they're, this incredible thing has keeps happening or will always happen. It's a once in a blue moon thing, and it is surprising to see how people like try and work something that, the like last year, Blueprints, fan fucking tastic game. I really liked it. I still need to finish playing it because there's just so much to discover, and I love having a game that uncovers little mysterious things to find and discover and understand and go, oh, okay, how does this link in? Does it link in? I like having those sorts of questions and answers where I'm not certain. Let's find out. That I think is one of the underrated elements of video games. I don't know. Let's find out. It's not told to you that this matters a shit. You just find out. Like, discover, work it out. I think it's one of those good things that has actually occurred. Oh my god. um Jesus, sorry. I I just saw a whole bunch of words pop up and I'm like, oh god. um Luckily I don't have to deal with it. Where was I? It was talking about that entertainment and the okay, yeah. The trying to think of the best way to get back onto the train of thought here. Oh no. There we go. The art and IP and everything else that has occurred, and these small incidental games or movies or things that break the molds, that like everybody lost their mind with Stardew Valley, and rightfully so. It's a fucking fun little game, but it was not built on this aspect of that he needed or required everybody to kind of work on this with him to be able to make it work. He worked inside his own structure to develop his game the way he wanted by taking the time that he needed without dealing with a publisher. Now, having a whole bunch of studios where you've got I won't use it in a derogatory sense, but not to say top tier, not to imply they're not top tier talent, but to have talent from studios, Ubisoft's or Microsoft's or Sony's or whatever, like people who've worked on a game series and then gone, okay, cool. I've made 3 of these games. They've done pretty well on Metacritic. I've got this idea for a game and I think it's really great. I'm going to try and make this into something. So the options used to be that you would kind of take that game idea and you'd pitch a publisher to go, okay, I'm going to make this game and I think it's going to do this well. And publishers would go, yeah, no, like we'll we're not seeing it. Or they'd go, oh yeah, cool, what's your pedigree? You talk about the studios you've worked at and everything else, and people go, oh, okay, yeah, you've worked at X studio and blah blah blah, and you've delivered 10 games on time, on budget. You know what you're doing. Fantastic. I will I'll put in for that. So then you get a publishing deal and you then get a set amount of money to be able to deliver what it is you've promised. You've gone into a publishing agreement and that's the terms. You know how much money you've got and you know how many staff you're willing to or able to work with. So then you work to what you can produce. The issue is too many people are right now taking it as we've seen so many successes that have broken the standards of the norm. And I wonder, I think it's a good thing that we've had those broken standards, because we've then had people like taking big swings. Like, uh would Expedition 33 be what it is without the reality of that studio at that small size, focusing, knowing what it is they're doing, and absolutely locking in and getting it done? Probably not. The Game Pass deal, as they said, helped with Sandline Interactive, their publisher, because then it guaranteed the money. They're going, okay, when this game comes out, there's a set amount of money that's going to be in our hands. So these guys are saying they need another year and a half, or another year and a half before release. Cool. This buys them that year and a half, because now we've got guaranteed money that we know is coming in 18 months time. So we can forward that money to them and make sure that their bills are paid and that our bills are paid, and everything continues on. But that was scoping and setting themselves to a very strict standard, and working to that without compromise. Like, they left every dollar on the table, and I'm sure they probably put their own money in. That's where I think the developers and people need to honestly start thinking that, instead of trying to, like, I think, for what Turtle said, when do you think it's gone from being a product to being art? Yes. But I think there is too much of a conflation of how people present and view video games, because there is always this element of the best games are the mix between art and technology. They are. But everybody starts from a baseline of, like, everybody starts learning how to program Pong or Hello World. It starts with the small little elements that help you understand how to scope and how to create. But everybody, well, no, I'm sorry, that's absolutist sort of commentary, and I try not to do that. A lot of developers, it seems, they're trying to punch above their weight, and you know what? Absolute respect for them. That's fantastic to do. Like, prove that you are better than they think you are. That you can swim with the sharks, and all sorts of other kind of what are cliche statements. You're better than they think you are. That's all and good, but you should always be operating to try and just work inside a simple point of view of, I need to make this game for this amount of money, and you can't allow scope creep. You can't allow yourself to get bogged down in the details of everything that doesn't matter about delivering what it is you've promised. Because if you're not beholden to a publisher, yeah, you can spend as long as you want or as much time as you feel you need to deliver the best game possible. From Turtles, I think punch above their weight, but also take too much ownership over a product they're trying to sell to others. I think it's honestly that instead, anybody can sell their idea. And, like, good salespeople, like the old more cliched statements, the old cliched statement of, you know, oh, he could sell ice to an Eskimo. And like I get that from a lot of people, that like you could have a um you could have a fantastic person who's able to sell ice to an Eskimo. Oh, like their vision overrides what the customers want from it. That's also where, hold on. Oh, wow. I've actually gone over the hour and a half that I was normally do. All right. I'm going to save the game there because I need to make sure that I do actually stop at some point and sleep because it has been a very long day. But what we'll do is we will stamp on this button. There we go. There's no dog cam for the dogs, unfortunately. I think what you said there, Turtles, ultimately comes into where one of the issues is. The creative vision is a very set and locked ideal. I want to make this, and I'm the director, and I will deliver what I want. But what you need to do is to create something that resonates with people, but you cannot have creation resonate at hour 6. You have to be able to sell. You have to be able to sell something that is a tangible to people. It isn't just the idea of trying to think of the I don't want to be too crass in saying it. You have to sell the reality of what your product is. Is it entertaining? Is it fun? Is it sad? Does it make you angry? Does it make you feel powerful? Does it make you feel contemplative? Does it make you feel remorse? What what does the piece of art you're making inspire in the people? But with video games, you then have to have the physical interaction, the interaction with the game, mirror the element that you're selling. If you are selling that you have a Dark Soulsian style game where the combat is brutal and visceral and uncompromising, and that one mistake will take everything from you. If you're doing that, but you're trying to tell a story of hope and success and overcoming odds, if it takes somebody an unreasonable amount of time to be able to start to feel that click, they're not going to connect with it. It's one of those elements that works for Dark Souls, which is that the idea of overcoming through, you know, through the motions, the constant, it's the Doctor Who element of butting your head against or punching the diamond wall for billions of years to be able to finally break through and break out of it. It is that slow wearing away until you finally break it and you get past that challenge and you go, oh my God, I've overcome something, that then creates the rush, the adrenaline, which then creates the, you know, the kind of balancing effect of what the character feels and what the person feels, that ludonarrative connection. So if you're trying to sell something, you don't only have to think about what it is that the publisher wants. You also have to think about what the publisher is trying to sell to the customer. For myself, in my own business, in security, in designing products, we know what services or what products we're making for people. We understand that, but it's about what those people need it for, where it goes, how it's interacted with, what are the issues that they have when it comes to installing it, what about maintaining it, what about color options, what about accessories, can they make it a little bit longer, can they make it a little bit shorter? All of those things, we then have to develop our products around fitting into what the customer needs. Publishers right now are dealing with, honestly, so many games, so fucking many games out there for, jump on Steam and you can type in a topic like, fuck, you can even decide what sort of hentai game you want, type it into Steam, and something will come up that fits into that niche. But you you can't start working out how to play in the big leagues by trying to make your own unique little niche thing and finds that little spot in the world that exists in such a very, 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 very small instance that honestly it's tough. um I don't know how anybody in today's world would look at, like, okay, there is a specific instance I know of for a solo developer, um 100 Stones Entertainment, in Melbourne. He's a friend of mine. Haven't seen him in quite a few years, but he's a solo developer. He used to live up here in Brisbane, and he worked for Chrome Entertainment and many other game studios. And he went and started doing his own. He started working on his own solo development. His first game, Eyes of Ara, that he put out there, he funded by paying for the entire development by not paying himself anything and just buying food and paying his rent and paying his electricity and paying internet. And he worked on it for, I think, a year and a half or 2 years total. So his severance from Chrome Entertainment or Chrome Studios, which then became KMM, which then closed down, which then they went back to being Chrome. He was one of the few people left there when they had a deliverable that the studio was closing down, but they went, okay, if you deliver this game, we'll pay out this in bonuses to your severance and the time that you've been here and blah, 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 blah. So he went with it. He then used that money. He paid for the entirety of development himself. He only hired somebody to do the music and somebody to do the puzzles. So with the game coming out, he got some good reviews, and I think he put it out on Apple, on iOS and Android, and on Steam. He's been working on another game now for 4 years, and that has been funded by the sales of his first game, where everything was built around environmental design because he's an environmental artist. So he played to his strength to then develop a style of game that had a feel and a mood that he could really express well with his own skill set, rather than focusing on the things that he didn't know well. He didn't sell anything past that. He just went, this will be using my strengths to try to make a video game, just a puzzle game. That worked for him. And I think that's where video gaming kind of has to go back to, is that he knew that puzzle games were strong, but he didn't have the coding ability to be able to make gameplay design elements that would be complex or interesting or change the dynamic. And that seems to be where everybody right now in a lot of publishing and development is going, that everybody's trying to punch not just above their weight, but above the weight of their peers. And instead of focusing on what they can do really well and scoping and working to that, people are pushing further and further out into, Well, we've got experienced developers who've delivered Mass Effect and this and that. We could make a game of that equivalent. No. Mass Effect was made by a team that had delivered Baldur's Gate 1, Baldur's Gate 1, Baldur's Gate 2, Jade Empire, Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3, Dragon Age in there, and Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. That studio ultimately made the Mass Effect games. It takes that long to build up to those points, but we seem to be trying to jump from Baldur's Gate 1 to Mass Effect. And that's where I think the industry right now has a big issue, is that people want the Mass Effects. You only get Mass Effect after 10 years of doing all of these other things in building and skilling and developing so much more, that then allows you to be able to scope and understand and builds that in a 3-year time frame. So in a roundabout way, don't trust everything you read on the internet. No, it's one of those aspects. I think for any of the discussion out there, it may be true, it may not. Do developers have the time to do that though, or are they a lot of one project before they are shut down? I think it is a combination of a few things. Do developers have the time to do that though? Yes, if they're honest about what they're doing and they're building towards that as their ultimate goal. They're allotted one project before they're shut down. If somebody wants to take a big swing and it doesn't work, I'm not gonna shit on their parade for that, because I think that's fucking amazing. Like take a big swing and see what happens. Like, you know, like I think Todd Howard once said, you know, like, why play it safe? You know, like, fuck bunting. Like, swing for the fences. Like, if you're gonna do something, just do it. And if you've only got that one project, that one big shot where a publisher's gonna go, do whatever it is you want to do. Sit there, be honest with yourself and go, it's going to take this much time, this much money, and this much effort. And this is what we're going to do, and do it. Like, you only get, like, how many one-time directors were there in Hollywood who got a shot and then just never got allowed behind a video, or into a video village on a film set ever again. It does happen. I think developers do have the time for it. Oh, and there's Evie. Thanks, Evie. Developers like CD Projekt Red, taking The Witcher 1 and developing that, and then focusing in on going, okay, we know what we're doing now, and pushing for more with Witcher 2, and then again with The Witcher 3. That kitten. They built themselves into a position where they swung for the fences with Cyberpunk. And obviously now with what they're doing with The Witcher DLC and The Witcher 4, and potentially whatever the future happens for Cyberpunk, they're a developer that's done it. But they've done that over years by starting with the smaller projects and being beholden to just locking in on what they need to do and doing it. I would say Larian is as well. I have my own issues with how the CEO speaks about things sometimes, because for a lot of it, like, it is fine to say, you know, be bold, make better games, don't sign up under big publishers or anything else. And it's like, motherfucker, I know for a fact that you have gone scraping and begging to nearly every publisher out there when things have not gone your way, because you pushed too hard and things got tight. Like, I respect a man who puts his house up as collateral to make sure that they can get the game across the board and get paid their money and be able to get your house out of hock. But it could have been as well that you don't put yourself in those positions by making sure you know, it's always a case of, yeah, you know, trendsetters will push hard and and do everything they possibly can. That is for some people. But you can also be conservative. You can save an idea for the next game. You can try to just work inside, like, limitations can be your friends sometimes. I suppose that's all I'll finish on. So yeah, thank you to Meechin and Turtles for jumping in. I appreciate it, and I hope the nattering back and forth and watching me panic, getting my ass kicked by ghosts, was amusing. And yeah, I'm actually enjoying just sitting down and doing this once every 2 days. I think Rand and Jez are doing a show on Saturday morning my time. Wonder whether I should do another one on Friday. Yeah. Wonder whether I should do a oh, look at that. Turtles has the orange now. He has the orange name in the system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make him a mod. He's a mod. He's dangerous now. Yeah, I might do another stream on Friday. So 2 days time, same bat time, same bat channel. Oh, he's got a blue name with his little shield and his little spanner there now. So yeah, we might do this again on Friday and just keep rolling through. Weekends are a bit weird because it can yeah, well, see, that's the thing. Both you and I think, are mods for Jez's channel. Next time he does a solo stream, we just need to, like, instill a little chaos. No, I wouldn't do that to him. Yeah, so we'll do this again in another 2 days' time, and thinking, if anything, I might just stream at the same time that Xbox Era go live, or the same day, but just later in the day. Because I think it's always built around, like, it's yeah, it's nighttime in the UK when it's daytime here early morning. Yeah, that doesn't really work for me. All right. Well, thank you very much. We're going to call it there. See you for the next stream.